What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another trading recap video. So today is Thursday. It's the evening now. The market closed, and today kind of fits the theme of what we've been seeing this past week. Good week to practice patience and discipline. Opportunity has been limited. Yesterday was a no trade day for me, and today is going to be a small step in the right direction. So it's small green day plus $30.50. It's going to be on one trade on PIXY. This was the leading gapper today. This morning, it was up almost 200%. Not quite. I think it was about like 120%, which is great. We haven't seen any gappers that have been that significant in a while. And the chart looked fairly good. I had a pretty good headline. The only thing I was a bit skeptical on going into the open was that it was a bit extended on the 5-minute. And it looked like it had potentially, done the majority of its run pre-market. But there's two areas on this that I'm going to want to cover. One trade that I did not take at this level, break of descending resistance. And then I want to cover the trade that I did take out of this halt resumption. Ended up being a small green trade, like I said. But there was at one point I was down almost $1 a share in the trade. So the risk to reward really wasn't there. And to be quite honest, I think I FOMO'd into the trade a little bit. Looking back on SHPH. Now, this was a stock that it's given some pretty wild opportunity over the last few days, including today. It kind of had a random pop from $40 to $43.80, and then halted down $3. Halted up and then resumed $3 a share lower. Bit odd there. But this was one, I guess it was just yesterday that we had a move from $26 and all the way up to $25. Or 26 to 25. Excuse me, $26 to $45, that is. And it was on a series of halts. And so when PIXY resumed here, it did a similar little price action that I noticed on SHPH, where we resumed, and instead of dipping at all, it got bought up right away. So it resumed here at 27. Given too, it looked good. It resumed above all of these pre-market pivot levels, pulled back to 27, and that's where I bought in to see if it was going to stay strong, but ended up dipping down here to 26.50 before it reversed up to 27.80, and then from 27.80 it flushed down into a halt. So there was no continuation on this thing, which was a little bit unfortunate to see. So I'm going to bring over the first trade that I want to cover here that I believe that I missed on it. So this break of descending resistance. So it's going to happen right here. So right here off the open, we have these wiki candles that give like $1 to a share range, and then which is kind of consolidating sideways. And then on this, we hold strong at $24, and then the candle makes a new high and breaks a descending resistance. And there's an entry on it that I definitely missed. So for a watch right here, it broke up. Now we're hesitating. It wasn't a very strong break, but we're holding above 24. So if you look at the bids, there's 25. Then they'll open up and come down here to 24. So it holds at this level for a bit. There comes down to 24. There's 24.05 by 24.55, and right there, 24.40 by 24.55. All of a sudden, it pops up. The bids pop up $40. Man. 40 cents a share, and it holds that, and then the bids go from 50 to 70 right there, and that's where I should have been a buyer. If I wasn't buying on the dip of that candle after it broke out and then dipped back down, which would have been maybe a little bit more high risk entry, that should be the entry right there. The consolidation for a moment, and then the retest of the hive candle and a break should have been the entry. And there it goes. There's 25, 25.50, 26. 26.35, and it locks up into a halt. So it goes $2 a share right there. So that was a trade that I sat on the sidelines for, and even right before it broke, I said there's an entry at 24 potentially, and it went up, and I missed it. So I sat on my hands for that one, and I shouldn't have. Before I get rid of that, there's one more trade I wanted to cover here. So just my trade on this halt resumption. All things considered, it was a decent trade, and if we had similar price action on this than we did to SHPH yesterday, this would have been a better trade. Granted, they're very different stocks. That was SHPH is a recent IPO. This is not. This one has a history of being a bit more volatile. Well, they're both incredibly volatile. But anyway, so there's resumption. My immediate thought when it resumes up here at 27 is it resumed and it pushed. It didn't give a dip. I was looking for the higher resumption, which we got, and then the dip on to the previous resistance levels for the dip and rip. And we had the good gap for it, but we opened and we just went. So I kind of had that quick little FOMO kick in that I didn't want to miss it if it was just going to rip into another halt to the upside. So right here, it hesitates for a second, comes back down to 27, want to hit the buy button there. As you can see on that, when it wicks down for a split second. I mean, it was quick. So right there's where I hit the buy button. I ended up hitting it actually when it popped up to 52. So I got filled at 27.52, which is right near the high of this candle. And then we pulled back to 26.50. So I'm down almost 150 on the trade. And then we have a decent red to green on it. I ended up selling because it's after a pretty big green candle. And then we ended up failing right here. And it looked decent there. I was holding, and I was potentially considering another trade. I was holding at 27.50. Then when that rejected, it rejected really hard. So yeah, there was like $4 a share right there from hive candle to the low. And it locked up in a halt and didn't really give much opportunity from then on for the rest of the days. You could have maybe tried a couple of sketchy dip trades on it, but I didn't. So that's the trades on PIXY. And then actually later this afternoon, they made an impressive run up. Look at all these green candles. I broke out here at about 22.50 and we ran all the way to 33, but I wasn't watching. I was out running errands. Can't be here for all of the moves. So unfortunately that one I'm going to miss. But other than PIXY today, we had a couple things on the gap scanner. Nothing really held up. We had ASAN make a decent move, but I mean, even from break of this pivot level right here, $24 to highs, 24.80, that's like only 3%. So if you're looking for the scalps on it, this one just wasn't realistic for it. I took one trade on Ruby on this break here. Ended up being a small little green trade, but it ended up being kind of a false breakout and then pulled back. So I didn't really like this stock. It was one that was in play a couple days ago, or I believe actually it was, yeah, 2 days ago where it gapped up. But this morning it was gapped up like 15%. It was under $1 a share. I'm not interested in it, but it ended up hitting scans. So I tried it once. Could have been some decent potential on it, but this one was a little bit tricky too. IMRA was another one that there was some hope on, but it was just, yeah, it's been tough trading. So it's a good week, good time to practice patience and discipline. So it's a good base to be on. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap that up here, plus $30.50 on the day. I'll be back tomorrow live streaming, be back with another recap. Just taking what the market gives for now. We'll see if tomorrow has some better opportunities, hoping for a nice gap scanner tomorrow morning when I wake up. But until then, hope everyone trades good, trade safe, and I'm out of here.